Welcome to the RSI Trade of the Day. My name is Benjamin Poole, head trader here at Verified Investing. I've got a great show for you guys today. I'm going to cover commodity. I'm also going to cover crypto. RSI works on commodity, crypto, stocks, Forex. It doesn't really matter. The RSI is a key indicator into how to pick specific levels based on the price action and everything with the stocks. So yesterday we had our trade on SMCI. Unfortunately, that didn't hit, but I'm going to go ahead and cover that one for you guys, show you kind of what I was looking for and how it stalled out, and then what it's doing today. And then I'm going to go over a couple of one crypto, one uranium chart that I've been noticing, kind of what to look for in that. And then we're going to get into the trade of the day. All right. So here I'm going to use here. So I'm trying to play with some zingers and stuff like that to kind of bring some a little bit more excitement into the show. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. Here is the chart of SMCI. So the SMCI trade of the day was 62.43. You had this high pivot point that I had mentioned. This was a targeted short opportunity for us based on the fact that you had daily RSI from the previous day. What I like to see on the RSI charts when we're looking at daily charts is the fact that when you get the RSI that's really, really overbought, actually, let me go ahead and change the color for you guys. I'm going to go into settings and change this RSI color to yellow so you guys can see this a little bit better. But what I was noticing is the RSI stayed above 70 or between 70 and 30 and never pierced 30. Whenever I see this in the charts on a intraday basis on the 1 minute chart, I like these for a continuation play or a possible short opportunity for the following day. And so that's what we had here on SMCI. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the daily chart, reset my charts. So this is why I was targeting 62.43. Although RSI is a great tool to use when you guys are looking at looking at short positions or long opportunities, it doesn't really matter. That is not the only factor that you have to look at. Is when is support and resistance coming up and where that's at. With that in the RSI, it can be a really stellar trade. And that's why I targeted SMCI at this high pivot point. Usually I like to target highs of red bar candles or highs of green bar candles when price action is going higher. This is why I targeted the 62.43 level. It got really close, about a 1%. It got about 1% away. And I was saying, look for a 3 to 5% pullback. And look at this. It pulled back all the way down to $58.12. So it was about 3 to 5%, kind of like I was predicting based on the RSI chart as well as the extended move on the daily time frame. Okay, so now let's go ahead and look at GRASSUSDT. So this is the spot chart, and I want you guys to notice that the RSI on the daily time frame is chopping around the 30. This tells me that GRASS is on the weaker side for based on the rest of the altcoins in the crypto space. So now that we're starting to get below the 70, what we're going to do is we're going to actually look for support and resistance. And I'm going to show you on the grass chart that we're actually into a lot of support right here. Doesn't necessarily mean that this is a great buying opportunity. What we have to do is look at previous price action, the choppiness there, and then we can decide whether or not we're going to take this as a trade. And this would be more of a swing trade opportunity for you guys. So here we have, again, the RSI. It's going to be below 30 today. If we have a closing below 74.84, you'll notice that the RSI would be at 30. Good RSI price action. The RSI or the price action itself is decent. And so now if we get to an oversold condition, this low pivot right here at 76.68 usually is a good opportunity for us to start a long position. So keep in mind that after this support level on GRASS, we don't have anything until really we get down to this level. And so what we want to do is we want to actually try additional factors. Okay, so what else would we be looking for? Well, let's take a look at a Fibonacci retracement. And so we take this pivot low right at 15 cents and all the way up to $3.96. And then if we get back down to this 886 Fibonacci retracement of 58.46, this would be a great swing opportunity for a long position. That means it's retraced 88.6% back down to the previous all-time low. And so although the RSI itself doesn't say, hey, it's not screaming at me, hey, this is something that we need to pick up for a long position, this gives us an idea that, all right, we're starting to get into the oversold position, or oversold on their RSI. So this could be an opportunity for us to look for an additional support level and then possibly dollar cost average into this, knowing that it could go back down to 15 cents. And that would be a pretty significant drop even from here. It'd be about another, 75% drop. So that's one thing we got to weigh. If you guys are interested in GRASS, if it closes, I would enter on a closing basis and then start with a small position and then look for a potential, 5, 10, on an altcoin, you're looking for about a 20 to 30% move to the upside. Okay. All right. So now let's go ahead and check out the uranium chart. Uranium is doing pretty much the opposite of what happened with GRASS. We pierced resistance levels on the upside, and now we're continuing higher. It got up to 46.50 on the chart, and then the RSI is creating some negative divergence. So what are we waiting for here? So on a daily time frame, you're waiting for this upsloping trend line to break in addition to this negative RSI divergence. So this could be an opportunity to enter a possible short position on uranium. What you would be doing is you would actually be looking for, if you're not looking to short uranium itself, you would want to look at maybe like a miner or an ETF like CCJ or URA for a potential short opportunity. But if we get a break of that upsloping trend line, uranium should fall quite nicely, and so will CCJ or URA as well. But as of right now, if the RSI gets back down to the mid-level around 50 on uranium, it could be an opportunity if it's getting into some support to play it for a long position or for a long opportunity on the uranium chart. So now let's go ahead and go into SOFI. SOFI gave some negative RSI divergence, and this is kind of what can happen every once in a while. You've got this negative RSI divergence. You got a little bit of a peak here at 84, and then a lower peak here at 82 with price action heading higher. And then look at what happens. You have a topping tail on a daily time frame. And so if you're looking to trade SOFI, what you'd want to do is you'd want to take a Fibonacci retracement based on the fact that you're oversold on the RSI, in addition to having a topping tail and a possible upsloping trend line break. So this is an opportunity to enter at 23.86 with a stop out at above 25.12 on a daily time frame, daily closing basis. So this is how I use the RSI. It's not just, hey, look at the RSI. It's way oversold. Let's go ahead and buy it. Or it's way overbought. Let's go ahead and sell. You got to get additional factors. And so now that SOFI is not only oversold, but it's also created a topping tail, this could be a pretty big reversal for the SOFI chart. All right, and now let's go ahead and go into GRSUS. This is going to be our trade of the day. So what I'm seeing in the RSI is you had this huge price action, and then you had this pretty big move on the relative strength index. Had this nice big topped out here at 90 on the RSI, and then this nice rollover. So my trade of the day is long QS at a pierce of $9. So I'm looking at $8.98. So basically just a pierce of $9. And the reason is, if you look at the RSI on the daily time frame, it is getting below the 50. And when a chart is overextended like this, and then it pulls back to about the 50 level, it's usually getting to more of an oversold condition. And if we can line that up with some support, that is a great opportunity. So again, my long play today is QS Pierce of $9, $8.98. And then you would make sure that you have a stop out at $8.71. And I'm going to go ahead and show you a little bit more about why I'm interested in QS. Not only is it starting to get oversold based on the fact that you've had a run from 90 down to 50, but look at this. You've got this nice pivot top. This was a great opportunity to get into the trade. Shows oversold on the RSI and then a nice pullback. So this right here is going to be a major pivot for QuantumScape Corporation. So now when you get back into that level, now that it's pierced it, this is going to be pretty significant support. I'd be looking for 3 to 5%. It could go as high as 10% on QS. But again, this is my trade of the day, a pierce of $9. And the stop out would be on a 15-minute closing basis below $8.71. Great RSI divergence. Oh, and then the last thing I wanted to mention is look at this. Gareth had mentioned this earlier today. If you take a fib extension, take it from this low pivot right here to this high pivot at 1503, you're looking at the 618 Fibonacci retracement of 902. Usually on a daily basis, this pierces this level, which is why I want the even number pierce of $9 before we enter this trade. Okay, so gives you a couple of different ideas on long opportunities on grass, gives you an opportunity to see why we failed on SMCI, where I never got our target. And then uranium gives you an opportunity to possibly play that for a short if we get a break of an upsloping trend line. And then your trade of the day on QS. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please stay tuned. Gareth is going live on the game plan at 9 o'clock. That's in just under 3 minutes. And if you guys want more of my program, make sure you like and subscribe and meet me here every day at 8:45 when the market is open. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day and take care.